Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. All right, what I'm about to say is supposed to be humorous, okay? Don't take this literal. Let's say that you just picked up yourself a vinyl. You've been looking for a vinyl and you got a vinyl. Somebody gave you this vinyl. You're so excited for your brand new vinyl. Now you need a vinyl player. So you went on Craigslist and you scored this Marley, seems pretty cool, vinyl player for like 40 bucks, or maybe a friend of yours had an extra vinyl player and he's like, you know what, here, have this. And so you got it home and you spin it up and you go to some Record-ology Tech Moan, some kind of YouTube channel where they talk about this stuff, and you figure it out. You struggle, it is so hard, it's difficult, but you get there and there's no sound coming out of this thing. You're like, what is going on? Why can't I hear anything? And then you go on Reddit and you're thankful you didn't get a Crosley, because apparently those destroy your vinyls, which would be terrible, and you should stay away from any. Crosley has this conspiracy apparently where they make a bunch of these stupid suitcase players and rebrand them, and they're trying to pull one over on you. Anyway, good thing you didn't get a Crosley. So this Marley stirred up is pretty cool, but it turns out these guys are grumpy, by the way. You find out, wow, these vinyl people, they're just not so happy, and apparently they're supposed to call it records, whatever. But they say you need speakers. How lame. I thought there were speakers built into this. Well, there's not. And it turns out that I need something called powered speakers, whatever that is. And those are like $200 at least. And then you've got a stereo system you could hook it up to, but you don't have a stereo system. That's such a dad thing anyway. And you're not, going to go, Home Depot mode and, no. So what are you going to do? You go on, I almost got through it. You go on Amazon, you're like, what would work? And I come across this thing. It's a sound bar. And, I've heard of sound bars, right? You put them in front of your TV, it makes it sound better or whatever. But, how about this? Would this work for my new vinyl player? Can I use this? So let's find out. Welcome to Record-ology. All joking aside, I actually first came across this several years ago. One of the people on a team that I was managing had an LP 120. In fact, I reviewed it. It was it was LP 60. The LP 60, the original one. He had it, and when I was starting the channel, I was like, hey, why don't you take this to review? And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, he was using a sound bar as a sound system. So that's the first time I'd heard of somebody doing that. And I've heard about it a couple of times, I think, since then. So I thought, you know what? Is that a good option? Because this is only $60. This is a lot cheaper than regular powered speakers. And it says it's 100 watts. So maybe this would be a good option for somebody because I do get people all the time. They're like, I just bought this record player and does it have speakers? Where is the sound going to come from? They're not planning on this initial investment that they're going to have to make. So this is by DY Play. I have not heard of this company before. This is a 20-inch. Typically, these are primarily used for televisions to increase the quality of the sound, and you would normally match the size of the sound bar to the size of the television. So a 20-inch sound bar would be for a 20-inch television. But a smaller one like this would seem to be, pretty good for something, a record player like this. And my biggest concern is you're not going to get great separation. So we'll have to see about all that. It does have Bluetooth. It is 2.0, meaning there are, two speakers. It has the HDMI ARC, or audio return channel. That way you don't have to run an audio output, back into your sound system from your TV if you're using it in that manner. It's got optical auxiliary input. You can run a TF card on it. That's pretty cool. USB and Bluetooth. And there are some of the specs we talked about, 100 watts peak power. So yeah, this ought to be pretty cool. I'm excited to check this out. And let's go ahead and start by opening it. This potentially really could be a game changer in terms of, what I recommend for beginners. Because if this does the trick, I'm gonna have a hard time with these tabs sometimes. If this does the trick for $60 and it sounds as good as I hope it will, then we may have a winner, because that's going to be cheaper than any powered speakers. And if they're just a casual, newbie to vinyl, then it may not be half bad. All right, so here's the speaker itself. There is nothing else in the box except for the other side of the foam packing. Yeah, when you get the packaging down, you realize it's really not that much bigger than the turntable itself. All right, so let me go ahead and realign my shot here, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got what looks like accessories packed on top here, and taped onto this. I should have brought scissors. I always say that. Oh, I don't want to go. Okay, I'm going to get the scissors. Or an oversized knife. That works too. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you guys, you'll notice this video was posted a lot earlier than it normally is. Usually it doesn't go up till like 10 or 11 p.m. Mountain Time on the day of, which I'm trying to get better at that. It makes it really hard. I obviously, you know, this is a secondary endeavor for me. I've got a full-time job on top of this, and it's just difficult to get it up any earlier because a lot of times I'm filming after work that day, and so it's hard to do it early. This one I actually filmed the day before you're seeing this. Right now, as I film this, it's only Tuesday, so that I can edit it, get it ready for tonight, and then, you know, set it to go live in the morning, which I'm thinking like 6 a.m., 8 a.m. I mean, you'll know by the time you're seeing this, but I haven't decided, but early. And I think that, you know, that's something that other YouTube channels do that works well for them. I think that we may just get more people in general to see the video that way. That's what I'm hoping for. So let me know your comments down below, what you think in terms of when the show should go up, etc., etc. If this works and everybody likes this, what I might do is just start producing the day before. So produce, let's see, it'd be Tuesday, Thursday for the paid show, for the membership show, and Saturday, and then get it edited the night before and put it up in the morning. So yeah. Okay, what do we got here? We got an HDMI cable. We've got an 1/8" to 1/8" TRS stereo cable. One of them has the angled piece. You don't see those very much anymore. That's good. We have a remote control. If you've got a television and a Blu-ray player and a, you know, an Xbox or something, you may be having a lot of remotes. Remember universal remotes? Those were huge in the 90s. Man, I remember programming those things and, well, this doesn't quite control this part of it, but you can control the volume and the channel. There is an optical cable, fiber optic cable. Can never have too many of those. And here we've got, this is cool. This is a cable actually we'll use for this very show. This is a TRS to RCA. So if you've got an aux input or output and RCA is on the other side, this does the trick. Okay, cool. Now let us look at the speaker itself, the soundbar. The soundbar is a speaker, right? Okay, so we've got these wall mounting hooks here. Interesting little recess area. This initially I thought, oh, this must be a battery compartment, but no, this is just where the connections are. The HDMI, the DC power supply, optical input, aux input, USB, all that good stuff. On the bottom, we've got a very interesting rubberized foot with sort of these little raised edges. And over here, we've got some controls for the menu and volume control, power button. Very interesting. There's the speaker grill itself. It feels like a good quality metal speaker grill. Interesting, it looks like that is one of the speakers. There's a hole right there. Maybe that's a port. I'm not 100% sure. It could be a two-way speaker. Here's the manual, by the way, if you wanted to see the Bluetooth version, which is 5.0. So we've got rated output 15 watts times 2 with a peak power output. Okay, it's a little bit of marketing stuff there. I kind of fell for it a little bit, but all right, so let's go ahead and give it a sound. I mean, 100 watts out of this thing would have been insane. So, you know, 15 times 2, that sounds a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, the speaker thing is funny. I have to mention that when I review turntables, because I made a mistake a couple years ago reviewing a T400, and I thought it would be slick to not show the speakers, even though it required them. And everybody bought that thing and thought it, you know, had built-in speakers. So I felt kind of bad. All right, so plugging the soundbar in. Let's see if it comes to life or any lights show up. Okay, well, that's cool. So we got a red light over there. I'm going to press the power button on the remote. Okay, cool. Here's the remote, by the way. So we got Bluetooth, TF, line input, EQ settings, which is neat. I'm sure it toggles through those. And yeah, this is really, really neat. We're going to be using the line input.
Line in.
That's cool. So there's like different colors. Let me switch to the different colors here. If the sound is weird, I'm using the front-facing stereo mics, by the way.
Please insert USB. Please insert HDMI. Optical fiber.
That's so cool.
No SD card.
I love the colors. It'd be cool if there was color on each side. That is really, really neat. Okay, so let's go to line input.
Line in.
And the furnace just shut off, so it's nice and quiet in here now. A little echoey, but let's change EQ settings. I guess you don't get an audible feedback. All right, so it's connected to the line input. Let's go ahead and drop our needle on our Marley. I'm using the Ortofon OM5E cartridge. I haven't used that in ages, so let's go ahead and give it a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Have a wonderful day. Try the veal. Awesome that I picked the end of a song, right? To drop the needle. All right, I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Sounds good. Sounds really good. I like it. It's impressive. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is the most incredible sound I've ever heard. But it is not a slouch either in the audio department, which is good because it's a speaker. So it shouldn't be a slouch in the audio department. Let's go ahead and drop our stylus back here. It sounds good. It's good. It's a good full range speaker system. It's, you know, it hits on the bass a little bit. It sounds good in the mid range, and you know the high end was good. It's just good all the way around. Again, it's not the best speaker I've ever heard, but it's by far not the worst. It is beyond adequate. It is a good speaker. So let us try something else. Let's try some Bluetooth. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do something else. Let's try a different record first. I want to try something besides our tried and true trusty test record. I want to try something different. So we're going to be using some Emil's telegraphic transmission device. This record is pristine. It's brand new. I'm going to scoot the camera up a little bit and we'll give it a listen. And it'll be right by the speaker so you can give it a good, close listen. Notice does the left channel sound a little bit louder to you? That's interesting, and the camera's not dead centered, by the way, so this is actually closer to center. Yeah, it sounds good still. Let's try the Bluetooth. Okay, so this will be interesting. I've got a Bluetooth transmitting CD player. I'm going to put this over to Bluetooth in.
Bluetooth
in. Okay, cool. So let's see if these two like to pair.
Connected.
And we've got some Tom Petty over here. So let's turn up the volume a little bit here as we skip through this. I just turned it down. okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's okay. It's a good speaker. It's not, I'm not gonna say it over and over again. It's a good speaker. Okay. Let's try putting an SD card, a micro SD card in it.
Disconnected.
Okay, we're gonna put this in it next and give that a listen. So it took me a good minute to realize where the receptacle is for the SD card, which is right down there. So you have to pull out the power supply for a minute and put it in there. So that's a little tricky. I was in shadows trying to figure that out, and I'm like, okay. So I put it in the sunlight, and I could barely see it there. So in order to get to that bad boy, we're gonna have to reach down in here. Okay, so it should be in now. Okay, so I am going to press TF. Oh wait, it's off because I unplugged it.
Bluetooth.
Defaults to Bluetooth.
SD card mode.
Sounds good. Okay, so what are my final thoughts? I think it's a good deal. I think the product is good. It feels solid. I've only played with it now, for the duration of this video, but I feel like it is quality. I think that it's definitely $60 worth of functionality and audio there. This is really a sound system in and of itself. It's much more than just a sound bar because you've got the TF capability, just kind of a weird niche thing to do on this, but you've got USB input. We didn't even try that. Bluetooth, the optical in, the digital in, the analog in, all that stuff. So you can connect it to all sorts of stuff. And yeah, for a record player without speakers, a turntable as it were, you really would benefit from this. So I am going to recommend it. Perhaps this is, your first stop in speakers until you can afford and invest in some higher end bookshelf speakers. Or maybe this is as far as it goes with you. If that's the case, that's fine too. I love this light. I wish it was on both sides. It's just sort of the feng shui side of me, I guess. But it's a cool little device. Let me know down below if you've tried sound bars, if you've had this one even. I'd be curious to understand and hear from you what your thoughts are. Now, inevitably, even though I put the little disclaimer at the beginning, and most of us know this was satirical, the beginning was satirical, there will still be people, they're not called vinyls. You need to stop calling them that, okay? They're called records. But sometimes I just can't resist. So anyway, guys, thank you so very much for joining us for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Join the Vinyl Nation, get merch, all that cool stuff. By the way, we're coming out with cool new merch in the near future. But my friends, that's gonna do it for today. Happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.